700 years before the first European set foot in South Africa, a king sat upon a hill of sandstone, drinking from a golden chalice. Below him lay a metropolis, a city of stone, trade, and unimaginable wealth. They traded ivory for glass from China. They exchanged gold for cloth from India. They built a civilization that defied every lie history would later tell. But then, the city vanished. For centuries, it remained a secret, a ghost story whispered among local farmers, a forbidden hill where no one dared to climb. This is not a legend. This is the lost kingdom of Mapungubwe. Long before the rise of Great Zimbabwe, between 1075 and 1220 AD, Mapungubwe was the heart of southern Africa. Located at the confluence of the Shoshi and Limpopo rivers, right where modern-day South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Botswana meet. This was a capital of a sophisticated state. The name Mapungubwe has two meanings. Some say it means place of the Jackal. Others call it the place of the Stone of Wisdom. But for decades, the world knew it simply as a dusty farm. Why? Because the truth of Mapungubwe was dangerous. It proved that complex, wealthy, class-based African societies existed centuries before colonization. And in the 20th century, there were powerful men who wanted that truth buried forever. What made Mapungubwe unique wasn't just its wealth, it was its structure. This was the first time in Southern African history that we see spatial segregation based on class. It was a society of kings and commoners. The king and his family lived at the very top of the flat-topped hill, isolated, sacred, and closer to the ancestors. They lived in stone-walled palaces, literally looking down upon their subjects. The commoners lived in the valley below. From this high perch, the royals controlled a vast trade network. Archaeologists have found glass beads from Egypt, porcelain from the Song dynasty in China, and cotton from India. Think about that. In the year 1200, while Europe was trudging through the Middle Ages, a king in the Limpopo Valley was dining on Chinese porcelain. The city was abandoned around 1290 AD, likely due to climate change. The hill went silent. Fast forward to New Year's Eve, 1932. A local farmer named Jerry Van Graan, guided by a reluctant local informant, climbed the sacred hill. The informant feared the spirits of the ancestors, but Van Graan was looking for treasure. When they reached the top, brushing away centuries of dust and soil, they saw it, glinting in the sun. Gold. Not just raw nuggets, but art, intricately crafted gold beads, a scepter, a golden bowl, and the masterpiece, the Golden Rhino, a tiny rhinoceros, crafted from thin sheets of gold foil tacked onto a wooden core. It was exquisite. It was undeniable proof of a master craftsmanship. But when Van Graan reported this to the University of Pretoria, the reaction wasn't celebration, it was panic. This was the 1930s. South Africa was moving toward apartheid. The narrative of the white government was that South Africa was terra nullius, empty land, before Europeans arrived. They claimed that black Africans were primitive, with no history of building or civilization. Mapungubwe destroyed that lie. If black Africans built a gold empire in the 1000s, the entire justification for colonial rule would crumble. So, the order came down. Silence. The artifact were taken to the University of Pretoria and locked in a vault. Few people were allowed to see them. Archaeologists were discouraged from talking about it. For decades, the Golden Rhino sat in the dark, a symbol of African greatness, hidden by those who feared its power. But the truth is like water. You can hold it back for a while, but eventually it breaks the dam. In 1994, apartheid fell. South Africa became a democracy, and the vault was opened. The Golden Rhino was brought into the light, not just as an artifact, but as a national icon. Today, the Order of Mapungubwe is South Africa's highest honor, awarded by the president. The hill itself is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We now know that Mapungubwe was a precursor to Great Zimbabwe. We know they were master goldsmiths. We know they were global merchants. The silence that surrounded the hill for 70 years has been replaced by the voice of history. Mapungubwe teaches us a vital lesson. History is not always what is written in books. Sometimes, history is what is hidden in the earth, waiting for the right moment to speak. The Golden Rhino stands as a silent witness, a reminder that civilization in Africa didn't begin with arrival of ships from Europe. It was already there, shining on a hill,